Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
What's up, Doom Nation? Welcome back. You were listening to the Two Doom Men podcast. As always, it's Skaggs and the Captain. And here today, we have a special guest. You want to introduce him?
Yes, sir. My best buddy, Gabe. I don't know, Gabe, what do you want to go by? You want to go by Gabe? Do you want to go by Pink Jesus?
Yeah, you can
Pink
call
Jesus?
me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you can call me Pink Jesus. Pink Uji is another name I go by.
All right.
You can call me whatever.
I'll use that in the title of the episode.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
Pink Jesus here.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited. Thank you for finally coming on to sit
Yes,
with us and
thank
shoot
you.
the
So
shit.
great to be here.
Yeah, Gabe and I are co-workers, and we go down the rabbit hole almost daily.
Yep. I've met Gabe before, and this is my first time meeting him, actually.
Yeah.
I've met him before, and this is my first time
Yeah.
meeting him. Yeah, I like the way that
First time meeting him sober. Yeah. When did you come out? What night was that?
Yeah, that was a few weeks ago.
It was a random night.
No, there's
was
no
it not
way
a
it was
few
a
weeks
few
ago?
weeks
It was a few
ago.
months ago.
Yeah,
Oh
a few
shit,
months
was
ago.
it? Sorry.
It
It's all starting to blend.
Yeah, it was.
It's the psychedelics.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was after a podcast year, which is always just, man, when we do these ones in person, they're just a shit show
Yeah.
after.
We go out after,
Yeah.
and it's, people wake up on the floor.
Yeah, literally in here. Yeah, people wake up in the floor in here. There's food everywhere. So it was after one of those good times. So
Yeah.
be another good time tonight. We do got some topics we want to talk about, though, too. We're going to try not to get too fucked up. Although it's fucked up Friday. Gabe is from New Zealand.
Amen, I am.
Yeah. So
Were you born there?
I was, yes.
Oh, okay, so you still have memory of, when did you come to America?
Oh, I came here in 2018.
Oh, shit,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Sweet.
I
okay.
haven't been here too long. I've been here just
Right.
4 years now.
Yeah, it's fun. One of my old coworkers grew up in Venezuela as well.
Oh, nice.
And when the government collapsed, he ran to Brazil,
Oh.
and his uncle did some shady shit, and they got U.S. passports, and then he came
Fuck
over
yeah.
here.
So I think we could pick Gabe's brain a little bit about New Zealand. Jacinda Ardern is stepping down as Prime
Thank
Minister.
God.
We've spoken about her on the show before with her insane level of COVID tyranny.
And then also, Lord of the Rings. So
Oh yeah, me
yeah.
and Gabe. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
huge Lord of the
Oh,
Rings
yeah.
nerds. Yeah,
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is the best. I grew up in a hobbit hole.
the Andals.
yeah. You've actually been to Hobbiton, haven't you?
A few times, yeah.
It's
Wait,
there.
what's Hobbiton? Is that like?
It's the Shire.
It's
Okay,
from the,
really?
Yeah, it's real.
That's fucking
It's
awesome.
a real place you can go to. It's the movie set from the movie. It's just like a tourist attraction.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Isn't
Yeah.
there the place in Connecticut that we could rent the Airbnb
That's
of the
right.
Shire?
It's
Yeah.
in Pauling, New York. There's an actual
Okay.
like Hobbit house that's an Airbnb,
awesome.
and we've been wanting to like rent it for a weekend, just the boys, all weekend, just sit around, watch Lord of the Rings,
Yep.
smoke a bunch of joints. Like
yeah.
that would be a good time. It's booked though for like
2 years,
2
yeah.
years
Oh, shit,
in
is
advance.
it?
We looked into it. We were thinking about it to do like the spring. It's completely booked solid every single day.
God, dude.
Gabe, can
Yeah.
I bother you just for one more of these so I don't have to do it?
Yeah, you're gonna be the water boy
Yeah.
tonight, Gabe. Sorry.
The water boy.
So,
Other side. There you go.
So we'll talk a little bit about New Zealand and some of that stuff. I think it's going to be a little bit interesting, a little bit of culture. I think we'll also touch on the Project Veritas video that came out this week
Interesting.
Yes.
regarding Pfizer. The Paul Pelosi video came out. I know you mentioned that. Maybe we
Yeah, I
could
didn't watch
that.
it yet, so I was
All right.
figuring we could maybe do what we did with Garrett and just like pick it the fuck apart.
We with Gabe here, he helped us set up a new little technology for the screen recording in these in-person ones, which is a little bit more difficult. So hopefully that all works out. And we get into it. I don't know anything else you want to
No,
tell?
I mean, that's it. Then
All
we're
right,
gonna have
let's see
Sweets
how-
of the
see
Week
where it
and-
goes. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Drink more beer and eat Chinese food and get completely knackered.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So Gabe, you left before basically the end of the world, and
That's right.
and especially in New Zealand. We've talked about Jacinda Ardern, and on the show we've talked about her and what was going on in Australia. This is now 2 years ago, I guess.
Is Australia still like?
I think they've eased
Nazi
up
Germany?
somewhat. I think they've eased up
It's
somewhat.
always been Nazi
Yeah.
Germany over there.
But
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like since you would know because you're closer, like, have you been to Australia?
Yeah, a few times.
Okay,
many
so
times,
like
actually.
is not that they are Nazi Germany, but is that like their culture over there of like this complete compliance?
Yeah, they're a bunch of cunts. I mean, can I say that on
yeah,
here?
so you could say
Right
anything
out of the
you want.
outback, you fucking cunt.
Yeah, you fucking cunts. I mean, yeah, it's pretty strict over there. It's very different from New Zealand, even before COVID and everything. They've always been like they banned GTA and they
Really?
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
like it's
Fucking
really
cunts.
strict. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Australia it's even crazier now, but they are definitely better than New Zealand and what
Oh,
New
really?
Zealand's become.
Okay.
New
It's
Zealand's
funny
just gone shit.
because my father, when he was coming back from Vietnam, he had like a week R&R in Australia.
Oh, yeah?
And he loved it, and he was just dumbfounded that like every like poisonous spider, bug, lizard, snake, all like 9 out of the 10 most
Yeah.
poisonous spiders and poisonous snakes live in Australia. It's fantastic.
It's prison. It's
Yeah.
it's a hell on earth.
I've heard people say that it culturally it's somewhat similar. It's like probably the closest thing you're going to get to Americans in
Really?
some aspect.
Oh
but-
yeah.
Right, to some aspect, but maybe not. Maybe.
All the bad aspects you'll
Right.
see in Australians, but yeah, they're also way chiller than Americans.
Yeah.
Like
I'd like to have like a
you can
Foster's
banter.
beer or something with like.
Oh, dude,
although that's not even
I haven't had a
Australian,
good
is it?
old. No, Foster's beer for Australia. Australian for beer. I used to love drinking those oil cans, man.
Yeah. All right, let's get this guy. He goes right off topic to
Oh
Australia.
yeah, it's Friday, baby. We're drinking. We're having a good
Exactly.
time.
Let's get back onto New Zealand, which I find interesting, and with Jacinda Ardern stepping down. So she put out a video the other day saying that she's basically going to resign. I think come February. I don't think it goes without being like we don't have to say it. Her rule during COVID was insane. Like some of the strictest rules.
And she laughed about it the
strictest-
entire
yeah.
time too.
Oh, yeah.
Treating people that were not vaccinated like second-class citizens. I think even saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
To some- to
I'm pretty
some-
sure she's the one that was like, yeah, no, they are second-class
Yeah.
citizens.
So,
Yeah,
Gabe, I know
she
you
did
still.
say that.
I know you're here now, but you still have friends over in New Zealand. So,
I
what's
do.
like the mood? What's the reaction to this? I know you've maybe
It's
talked.
depressing. I mean, all my friends there are just depressed, and they're all wanting to move here, obviously.
I bet you wish they had the Second Amendment.
Yeah, no, they do. They do wish that. But it's just depressing. My friends, they've all become like hermits and have kind of like recluded.
Yeah.
It's just sad over there. Really.
It's funny to think. Sorry to cut you off like that, but like we had during COVID, our friend Zach, the unfit statesman, grew up in North Dakota or something like that,
I
South
think
Dakota.
So, yeah, one of those
One of the
places.
one of the Dakotas.
He was like one of
Yeah,
3
yeah.
people who
yeah.
lived there.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like during COVID, like his grandfather was like they didn't even shut down the buffet.
What? Really?
Yeah. So like meanwhile New Zealand, like regular citizens who are vaccinated are becoming like hermits and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like good old South Dakota was like, yeah, no, the buffet's still open if you guys want to
Yeah.
share.
Lucky bastard.
Those northern Midwest states, like,
Yeah.
are some of the few places
Yeah.
that just did nothing.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even acknowledge COVID existed.
And
They
how-
don't have enough people to acknowledge it.
How are they doing now?
They're doing fine.
Fine.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
wow.
doing great. Yeah, as far as
Well,
know.
I mean, I don't know. Like, have you gotten to explore America at all? Or?
Oh yeah. I've seen
That's
quite
awesome.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've driven from California over to
Oh, sweet. Yeah,
Virginia.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it was just amazing.
Yeah. So like but like in North Carolina, like North Dakota,
Yeah.
like your house could be here and then like 20 miles away is like your neighbor's house and then like
Oh,
80
yeah,
miles
yeah.
away is like your other neighbor's house. Like so there's nothing but space out there.
I mean, the social distancing is just
Yeah.
just
Part
walk
of
out.
life.
You-
Part of life.
Exactly,
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
of life.
They didn't shut down the buffet because City Hall was the buffet. Like this is
That's funny. It's a cultural thing, right? Which is
Yeah.
what I kind of want to talk to you about New Zealand. And
Yeah.
you've explained this to me before, but I kind of wanted you to explain it to everybody. Kind of like the culture New Zealand has of like cooperation and working together.
Yeah.
You know, there's a certain word for it. You were saying, like, if you could just elaborate on that.
Yeah,
a little
sure.
bit.
Whānau Culture is what it's called. And it's actually being told to, Jacinda Ardern has herself said, kill it. So Whānau Culture is family. We see everyone in New Zealand as a family member, as a cousin, as a brother, even outsiders, any race, any gender, everyone's just a family member. So it's chill. So everyone's just, yo, what's up? You know, we hang out with our friends. You see a homeless person on the street, you give them a chat, you give them some money, you just hang out. You take random people home and you just give them a good time. I mean, it's all about camaraderie and friendship and family. But during COVID, Jacinda Ardern came on the air and said, don't practice Whānau culture anymore. Your neighbor is not your friend. Your neighbor is basically, she said, your enemy, and to stay away from everyone. So, and it's just stayed that way. Like all my friends, they don't see anyone, they don't talk to anyone. So it's pretty rough.
That's like the perfect like authoritarian like move.
Sure.
Like your neighbor is going to kill you. You know, like it's interesting to see that like right away like there's this. Is it a subculture or is it like the culture?
That's the
of
culture.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
I was raised like that. So
Right. Okay. So like there's this huge part of culture in New Zealand where like we're just one big happy commune and everything's awesome and I'll help you, you help me. You know, we're one big happy family.
Yeah.
And then the second, like, one of the biggest aspects of COVID was division.
That's right.
And what did she go after? This section of like the culture.
Yeah, and I think I've told you this before. There's this famous quote. We've mentioned it before on the show, but I think by Andrew Breitbart. It was like a famous conservative guy who built like a whole bunch of conservative outlets and things like that.
Yeah.
Where he said that politics is downstream of culture. Right, and conservatives, a problem with conservatives is they've been believing this and following this kind of idea for many years. But I've pointed out many times on the show how that's not true. This is another example of how that's not true.
Yeah.
You guys in New Zealand had this very strong culture of like family and being chill and everything, and then the government comes along and it's like, fuck that. We have to change all that immediately, and they actually did.
Yeah.
The actions, the rules, the tyranny that Ardern put in place actually changed your Whānau, right? Is it called Whānau?
Yeah,
Whānau culture.
It's
and
a bit difficult to pronounce.
Yeah,
No, it's
Whānau. It's not like what it was before.
No.
I know you're saying that you still know people that kind of like become hermits now, so that would lead me to believe that they're not really. They've just changed, and that
Let me ask you something now. In my apartment, I found somebody who like is still
found someone in your apartment. Jesus.
hiding away.
No.
Good thing you got guns.
My apartment building that is still on like 2 weeks to flatten the curve type of shit, right?
Shit.
Yeah.
It's week 900.
Oh my god.
And he's like, just 2 more weeks, and we could get rid of these masks. And so you know, long story short, like I was going into the laundry room, he was walking towards the laundry room, and because I was in there, I was like, yeah, man, like I'm emptying out the washing machine, you could use it. Like, and he had a mask on. We're inside. He stopped dead in his tracks.
Yeah.
This dead stare, turned around and ran away from me.
What?
Yeah. Like
He ran away.
yes, like he could not be in the same room as me. And then I even poked my head back out, and he was sanitizing the washing machine before he went ahead and used it.
Inside the
Yes, he had a fucking bleach mixture that he poured in there. Because when I went to go finish up with the dryer, I looked in there, and there's this watery substance, and he is sanitizing the washing machine. So, like, this guy's completely broken.
Yeah.
Are your friends, like, broken, or, like, could they go back to this culture?
Unfortunately, I think you know you'd like to have hope.
Yeah.
But I see that they are broken. A lot of my friends.
So the communist one.
Unfortunately, but you know, time will heal things, and this is all just like shell shock. I mean, they've gone through something horrible. I mean, the whole country was controlled, and they would have to. I mean, the whole phone thing of having to scan everywhere you're going, and you're tracked.
Oh shit!
everywhere.
You guys had to do that. That's right.
Yeah. I'm glad I was never there.
I
during all
remember
that.
too seeing videos of like police coming to people's house, and being like, "Hey, you know, you posted at this protest, like, you know, you posted a video of yourself at this protest. The protest was illegal. Like, you're, you know, basically like either giving them a fine or like threatening them with a. I mean, like as an American, that's just an insane thought. Like, imagine the police coming to your house as an American. We're not that far away, but imagine the police coming to your house and being like, "Hey, you showed up at a George Floyd protest, right? And how we're going to... That would never happen. That would never happen because they're on the side of that. But, you know, imagine that thought. Like, you were at a protest. Now, here we are to give you a fine or arrest you. It's just... And this is like a westernized democracy. It's one of the 5 eyes, right? The English-speaking countries. Like, we're all supposed to be somewhat of a similar culture, the five of us.
Yeah.
You know, New Zealand, Australia, the United States, England.
Yeah.
So
I would like to
Canada.
try and interview people from like Canada, New Zealand, Australia, because like prior COVID-19, I could understand how there's people in England like we don't need guns. Fucking Americans are psychopaths that need to have all these guns.
Yeah.
But now like
I think they might be rethinking
that like a
Exactly,
literal
yeah.
part of culture has for now died in New Zealand. And we're not talking about like North Dakota where there's 3 people. We're talking about New Zealand. It's a
Right.
full, and I would really like to like have the gun debate with these people now and see them be
Sure.
like, yeah, no, it would have worked in our favor.
But,
Because the only reason why Americans weren't scanning to go into places, the police weren't showing up to their door for going to protests, is because behind every door you had one of those.
Right, maybe. I think it's a little bit more deeply ingrained in our own culture to like resist authority. Perhaps as I can see where even your Whānau culture can be like co-opted into like just you have to do this because of Whānau culture, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to.
Oh, you have to
Right.
listen. Yeah.
Where over here we're kind of like rugged individualism, like fuck you.
Yeah.
But
This
I
is
feel
my
like-
property. I don't have to do what you want.
I
me
feel
to
like
do.
the Whānau culture would work very well if, let's say, we just took one state,
Yeah.
like New Mexico, and New Mexico is now the commune.
the hippie commune.
No,
of
no, no,
America.
no. What's what is it when you're self-reliant and you grow your own food? and-
Homestead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a homestead state.
Yeah.
I could see that this culture would work very well with a homestead
Yeah.
ideology of a state. And what's the one thing the state would hate is
That.
for everybody
Yeah.
to be self-reliant. And
Exactly.
here you have a community that is bringing people in. Oh, you're down on your luck. Come on, bud. Let's go get burgers tonight. You're coming out
Yeah,
with
that
us. We're
sounds
taking,
good. Yeah,
you know what I
that
mean?
sounds
Like,
great.
and what did they do? They killed it.
Yeah.
They killed it.
Yeah,
And it's unfortunately dead now. What I've heard. I mean, I will go back in March and see, but
Are you afraid they won't let you back into America?
I've thought about that. But there was actually some crazy news today. The major airport, the main airport in New Zealand, Auckland Airport, is underwater. So
Really?
all New Zealanders can't leave the country or come in. So they're dealing with all that now too. So
See, you had an island nation, and like you're fucked either way.
yeah,
Like Australia was truly fucked. Like, how were they going to escape? How?
yeah.
yeah.
Where were they going to go? To New
I think
Zealand?
they're going
Oh
there.
boy!
Right.
They're
Yeah.
not
Right.
Oh
They
boy!
have the outback that they go hang out in.
They don't want to go back there.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I do think New Zealand has a little bit different of gun culture too. I know you're saying like, oh, it'd be great if you guys all had guns and this, that, whatever, but like, you know about this, right? There was the Christchurch shooting, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Which, maybe let's talk a little bit about that because I think that's interesting too, where
Yeah.
this guy, it was on Twitch, right?
Yeah. No, Facebook.
Or
He streamed it
Facebook
on
Live
Facebook,
streamed himself going into like a mosque.
Wow.
Yeah.
And shot multiple people.
Yeah.
Were you there at the time when this happened, or were you here?
No, I was here in America. But that was a real bad day for the country. I mean, all my friends and everyone took it personally.
Yeah.
Because, this is something that had never happened before in all of New Zealand. There's never been a mass shooting. It's just crazy. And the whole country was in mourning. It was horrible what happened. And unfortunately, it caused Jacinda Ardern to become even crazier. And I thought it was very disrespectful of her at the time. She decided to start wearing hijabs and going around the mosque and
Really?
around there.
Oh wow! So she's no.
Well, if you go into a mosque, aren't you
as
like
a woman, I think you have.
It wasn't
to
in the mosque.
Okay.
I mean, it was just for photos and for
Yeah.
kind of publicity.
I
That's-
hate that. That's
that's
there's
what I
nothing
assumed.
more than I
I
hate
have no
than
proof.
I actually do think that's kind of disrespectful because you're
Yeah.
not Muslim.
I thought
Like,
so,
why
too.
are you just like,
Yeah.
if you were in a Muslim
To
nation,
pander.
maybe, or if
Yeah.
you're in a Muslim
Pandering.
nation, okay, I can see you just like
Pandering, yeah.
walking around the street. But in New Zealand, which is not a Muslim nation, no offense or anything like that,
Yeah.
to just be like wearing a hijab like out in the street
Yeah.
is literally pandering
and I have nothing against it. I mean, it's completely fine, but it's
But she's not a Muslim though. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like I have nothing
and
against
then
it
she's
either.
never done it afterwards.
Right.
That's
I mean,
what,
she just
that's
did it.
exactly what I was just
She
going
just
to
did
bring
it
up.
for that.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
She did it for the photos. She did it because it was the it thing to do.
Yep.
No, I can't.
It's
And that just leads me to believe now that mass shooting might have been
What?
a,
Yeah, I know. Yeah. What happened afterwards?
false flag. Yeah.
Didn't they? Did they change laws and everything after the
Yeah.
right?
All assault weapons got banned. And
Assault weapons, right.
Anything that was labeled an assault weapon. So we had guns over in New Zealand. So a few of them, a carbine and a few other things got taken.
Oh wait, so the government came and picked them up.
No, everyone had to hand them in.
Oh man, the American in me is like,
But yes, right. But keep in mind, because this is the common theme of where I'm going with this, right? You guys had Whānau Culture, right?
right.
So
you
this
believed it was the right
terrible
thing to do.
thing occurred. The government comes and like, hey, your brothers and sisters got killed in this insane thing. Because of that, we should all work together and like we should get rid of guns because we don't want anything like this to happen again. Aren't you a good brother and sister to the rest of your New Zealanders? Do you see where I'm going? Like, these things can be manipulated by the government or the state, especially if you put like an evil person in charge.
Exactly.
Now, flash forward. What year was that shooting?
It was 2019, I think.
Was it? Yeah.
I think it was 2019.
It was somewhere around then, I guess.
2019.
Right now, flash forward just a few years, and you have just insane levels of tyranny from the prime minister where you can't leave your house, you can't do this, you can't do that. But
you're going to tell me one is doesn't go hand in hand with
compared
the
to
other?
what we dealt with here. Nothing. Like what we dealt with here is nothing compared to what New Zealanders had to deal with.
Yeah.
Right now, do you think the two are not related? That the leverage of having an armed populace is very much so harder to oppress. I'm not saying they didn't do some shit here; they still did. But boy, like they felt the pressure, the anger, the armed populace here not being like, no, we're not. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, of course, no one is for fucking mass shootings. Of course,
just
right?
the mass shooters.
But right, just the mass shooters, right? And they're all the time. They're like mentally insane people. So, but the government will always come along and like spin, and they're still trying to do that here every fucking week, right? Every week there's one, and they're trying to do that here.
They're trying to say there was 38 mass shootings in the past 25 days or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
They said that many?
Yeah.
When you actually look
since January 1st, there's been 2 mass shootings a day apparently.
Yeah, but that doesn't even make sense. We could get into that, but what I'm trying to say is like they'll use all these things or this thing. It only took one try really in New Zealand to just completely disarm everybody, and everybody willingly disarmed. And then like within just a year or two, they had insane level of tyranny. Now hopefully this is a white pill. Jacinda Ardern is resigning, and she hasn't really given like a clear explanation as to why. I know you read an article or something before, so
so wait, hold on. Before we go into this article, when she resigns, like, what's the goal here? Like, is it all like sunshine and rainbows from here on out? Like, who's replacing her? Like,
it's even worse.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like,
true. Yeah.
It's
like I can imagine now. Like, people in like a year are gonna be like, "Damn, I wish that bitch was back here." Oppressing me.
Hopefully in October it's gonna change, but
right. There's like a general election coming up.
Oh boy, they won't rig that. Okay.
But you're gonna find this very, very crazy. The prime minister sets her election date, so she set that election date. So a prime minister in New Zealand could technically never leave. They could just be like, "Nah, I'm here forever." And
right. It's not like
I'm
here.
the queen.
Right.
Yeah,
it's not like here where we have a scheduled election every 2 and 4 years.
Wait.
It's
so,
like the
wait.
president.
it's
imagine
not set in stone.
Right.
So like if Trump was president and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna reelect a new president in 2070." Basically, he's like, what he could do.
Right.
He could. The prime minister has all that power. They can.
Wow.
No one else could. Is there any other way that anyone can be like, hey, I think it's time we should have
There
an
was,
election?
but they took away all the guns.
That's a good point. All right. I mean, on the books. On the books.
I think there's like an emergency thing, like all the parties can vote together in Parliament. I'm sure.
Unlikely, though, right?
Yeah. Very unlikely.
Yeah.
Fortunately, over there seems to be a bit more uniformity between them, all the parties, but it's definitely not great. But yeah, I think really what's been going on over there is just manipulation. The country with the Whānau culture, we're great. We're good, nice people, but it makes us vulnerable, and it makes us open to be manipulated very easily. And I believe Jacinda Ardern has used that, the kindness, the love we have as a country, and abused it, and just threw all our ideals, all our morals out the window, and have completely changed and brainwashed the country.
I agree with that so much, because my big thing when COVID was at its peak, oh, you're gonna kill my grandma. I don't give a fuck about your grandma. All right,
He means that in the nicest way possible.
No, I don't give, not you personally,
Yeah.
but like, I don't care. I'm never gonna meet your grandma.
Yeah.
Hell, I'm not even gonna remember we had this fucking conversation.
Yeah.
You mean nothing to me in the grand scheme
Exactly.
of things.
And
like,
you're not affecting them.
Exactly,
that's
but
the
like-
main thing.
Right,
You're,
yeah.
like,
but so like
That
they
leap of logic, like how exactly, you know, like,
they took a group of very nice, peaceful, loving people who welcome everybody with open arms, and they were like, perfect. They're gonna welcome tyranny and oppression with open fucking arms. Whereas I might be a little bit more abrasive, and I don't give a
get it.
fuck about your grandma. Tyranny is not coming into my household the same way as it took place.
not giving a fuck about your grandma is the price you pay for freedom.
I never met my
understand.
grandma, so yeah.
I understand.
No, unfortunately,
yeah, it's all, you're taking a hard line against against that. Yeah, man. To me, like, I have traveled the world a little bit. I like other cultures. I think they're interesting. They're cool. They're like good things about human beings, like culture, like food, the way people behave. I think that is like one of the coolest things about New Zealand, and now it's gone.
yeah.
It like breaks my heart to
For
an
now.
extent. For now,
hopefully, fingers crossed.
in reverse, if I was me from New Zealand, I came to America, I'd appreciate the rugged individualism, Second Amendment, America culture. I'd be like, wow, that's
so-
really interesting. That's cool. If that were to like expire or go away, I'd be like, that sucks.
So, as somebody who came over here relatively in the past few years, like, what have you seen that's like, wow, this fucking works? Like,
What,
it
with
doesn't
the
even have
country?
to be, coming to America. Like, what have you found in
Gabe's
America?
been hanging out with me now for a year, so he's like,
so
he's
he's
a
really-
radical anarchist now.
Yeah, I was gonna
basically.
say.
He's gonna just, he's
I
like,
see a
well,
lot of
this
the
is my
bad.
Glock 19.
Let me tell you about how we're going to overthrow the government. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, America, it's a shit show.
Because we're allowed to run amok. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a good question. I'd like to hear your just outlook on America.
Because
in
you
general.
see, like,
As
you
a- as
had
someone who's a
America
foreigner.
has the stigma.
Yeah.
You see how the stigma was able to fight off the oppression compared to the way of life you were brought up on. And now you've been here a few years where your friends are hermits, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But tonight we could go out and we could go right down to Fifth Avenue, Manhattan, and do whatever the fuck we want to do on those streets.
Yeah.
We could literally shit in the subway station.
That'd
The
be fun.
Cops would come over and shake our hands. Like, it don't matter. There is a stigma, but like, so what have you seen and learned that compared to what just took place over there?
I mean, the major thing is freedom. It's
We're experts in freedom.
Right.
I made jokes back when I first moved here, like, America was supposed to be the land of the free, but it's nothing like my home. I'm more free at home. But then now seeing everything that's happened in New Zealand and just the way everything's going with politics over there, it's they're not free. They don't have the freedom to be themselves or to express what they're going on. I mean, the whole radical woke political movement that's happening here in America is just completely destroyed New Zealand. Jacinda brought that along.
Infecting. The
Yeah,
mind virus is
infecting, yeah.
infecting people. There.
And we were
The Last
already
of Us.
I thought it
like
was
that.
No, you're right
We're
to
already-
be infected because you're nice people, and I've always thought why people are so susceptible to falling for this con, which is wokeism, is because they're most likely just nice people, and they think believing that everyone's a racist and we have to like embrace communism to fix all of this is because we're nice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like
I've
they're
never-
susceptible to.
I've never been so happy to be a mean person. In my
There are benefits to mean people.
There is.
Yeah.
There is definitely is.
There really are. So,
You need people like me to make society move
You need
forward.
people like me. Fucking Tony Montana over here. Yeah, it really is interesting, man, to see your perspective of that. And it's interesting to see kind of like the outside perspective of America.
Yeah.
That's we're not a hive mind either, right? So
No,
like
no, we're not.
While yes,
That's
there
why
is-
it works like this.
Right. We are somewhat decentralized, right? Like while there is definitely that culture of like, fuck you, there is also the culture of like, I'm going to do everything the government says.
Daddy, tell me what to do
certain
today,
places. But I do
please.
think overwhelmingly though, even in some, I do think overwhelmingly the culture is more so of like America, freedom.
Yeah.
Even to people who don't
That
understand
cowboy shit. Yeah.
that 100% what that even means or that requires. I think that is that is kind of our Whānau culture in a sense,
Yeah,
like our
yeah.
version of that. Just
It definitely exists
there's-
here in
yeah.
some way.
There's plenty of Americans in the South that would welcome anybody with open arms. You know what I mean? Like as the as stereotypical as the South can get.
Yeah.
Honestly, every time we've tried the only stereotype that I know for sure that is true is the New Yorker stereotype of where the meanest, coldest fucking people there is.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, but like you go down to like we went to Ohio and like the homeless population was coming up to us, and in New York, if a homeless person deals with you, they want money.
Yeah.
In Ohio, they were just like, I just want to get to know you, man. Like,
Yeah.
it was shocking, and like
In Ohio.
yeah, and every
Cleveland,
time we go down south,
Yeah.
the nice. I mean, it's completely whitewashed down there, and it's bizarre.
What do
Coming
you
from,
mean? What do you mean whitewash? What do you mean?
dude? When we went to Tennessee, you had to look for Black and Spanish people.
Oh, but that's Tennessee though.
That's
I
fine,
went
but
to-
that's the South, man.
That's not the South. Tennessee is like the Midwest or mid. It's like it's like
Okay, I'll take
not
that.
necessarily the South.
We've
like,
okay, so
I've been to
we've been to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the
Nice
most
group.
diverse places in the
Yes,
world. Yeah.
nicest group of people.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because everybody's fucking boozing up 24/7.
Exactly.
I was going to use
I'm
Texas
chilling
as
out.
an
I've
example.
been to Texas,
I've
too,
been
and
to
they're
Texas.
super nice, too.
They're so nice in
Yeah.
Texas. But at the same time,
Armed population.
rugged individualists. Me and you have talked about this before, right? Like, I think 97% of the land in Texas is private property.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's, I mean, I don't think most people realize the split on that. Like, in New York, it's like 70% of the land is private property. Almost every inch of dirt in Texas is owned by a person or like a private entity. But they're the nicest people ever, right? Like, they don't need a fucking hippie commune or a state park or a swing set like to have a nice place.
I think-
essentially, like there's a culture of individualism, but it works. It's nice.
I
it's
think
fun.
that ruggedness makes you so tough and so hard that it pays to be. Because when you're down in Texas and you have your ranch or you have your property, you know there is the social contract or just the social
don't you dare.
the social
Don't you
network
dare.
socializing in.
We just
Texas.
went over this, God
I know,
damn it.
I know. That's why I brought it up. I was fucking around. Being that rugged and being that prepared, or I don't know.
Doomsday prepper. I don't know.
Not even just being that rugged that you're
Self-reliant,
self-reliant.
yeah.
That you're so self-reliant that it pays to be opening and inviting. Because if you're not, you're just going to be a hermit living on a fucking piece of property. Whereas if you're a nice person, you can defend yourself. You could fuck someone up. You could set someone straight. But you don't need to because generally people are nice.
Yeah.
Whereas that's what New Zealand was probably missing, where they had this awesome open-armed culture, but they weren't battle-hardened enough to know when to be like, no.
I mean,
You know, like a Texan will draw the line in
A
the
healthy
sand.
distrust of the
Yeah.
government.
I mean,
perhaps,
it did happen though.
Oh, it did? Please
There
explain.
was crazy protests, and I mean, as an example, my high school teachers, quite a few of them, decided to create a commune because of the vaccine. They went out into the forest, built their own community, said, "Fuck the government, I'm just going to do it on my own." And geez, the protests in New Zealand were insane. everyone was fighting. I mean, Jacinda Ardern was having daily death threats, and people were trying to kill her almost every single day, following her, tracking her down.
I think that's a mistake, though, because
Yeah, of course.
when you're dealing with a tyrant like that, they want to be attacked. They want, like, any. This is a big part of being a libertarian, believing in the non-aggression principle, because when you aggress against somebody, not only is that wrong,
Proves them right.
but it also proves them right, and then they use that to justify every ounce of tyranny they've, like January 6th, right? Like that, this insane, stupid thing that occurred. That's used. The Democrats use that for every justification for everything right now. Well, terrorists, you're a terrorist. This is a terrorist. That's a terrorist. Trump can't run for president because he incited insurrection. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work because you're giving ammunition to the actual tyrannists.
I'm in between because I think it's important to let these tyrannist people know that, like, you give us a chance, we're gonna fucking take you out.
But there's a difference between aggression and self-defense.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
I don't disagree with you, but the only problem, the real grassroots problem, and this statement's probably going to get the episode taken down, is they failed every time.
They didn't go. They
didn't go full send.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, if you're gonna do it, go all the way at least.
Yeah, make it happen. Yeah. Otherwise, you know.
Yeah.
But even then,
I'm not encouraging that. I don't believe it.
Yeah, no. But you know what though, the way things have unfolded since the beginning of the coronavirus, and even with that mass shooting that took place in New Zealand, if somebody was to actually excommunicado the prime minister, right? You know, solve the problem. That would cause such a headline news, probably, that, like, there would be even more oppression.
That's what I'm saying.
100%.
Yeah.
I also think it's I think war is the most horrific thing that could possibly happen, right? So like to I think people, I'm being a little bit critical here, but not necessarily, like to so casually or flippantly be like, yeah, you know, we should just like fucking fight a civil war and fucking overthrow the government, just like start shooting and killing. Like, you've never fought in a war. I've never fought in a war. I've heard what it's like. It's the craziest thing you'll ever. Your dad has, right? I'm sure you've heard from your dad in Vietnam. Like, it's
he fought in Vietnam.
Yeah, my dad was drafted. Yeah,
that should always be the absolute ultimate last resort, right?
Obviously,
if
death
we can,
and destruction should be
right.
Never.
It's really the craziest thing. Like, I've thought about it before. It's literally like men get in metal machines and they blow each other up with metal.
Oh
machines.
yeah, you want your way of life. You are going to force your way of life on this opposing force.
Yeah.
That by any means
explode
necessary
them to get it. It's crazy.
You're perfectly content with taking 100,000 18-year-olds and just throwing them
young
into
and
a
dumb,
meat grinder.
full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. We're sending them into the meat grinder, but guess what? Before they go in, they're going to put your men into the meat grinder. And we're just going to obliterate an entire generation of young men to make sure my way of life is now your way of life.
It's
That's what it comes down to.
I mean, there needs to be more individualism in the world. I mean,
it needs to be more commune, self-reliant, localized
societies.
societies.
I mean, like separate societies rather than one globalist one that is trying to happen.
Oh boy, Klaus Schwab would fucking make you eat the bugs.
So that's a good transition. Do you think it's a coincidence that Jacinda Ardern decided to step down the exact same week that they were having the World Economic Forum summit in Davos? I mean,
it's definitely not a coincidence.
You know, like she's a member of the World Economic Forum. She goes along with every globalist agenda. I don't know.
But also, you know, resignations are important. You know, as Q always said. So, I wonder what she knows. I know you're going to jump on me because I said Q, but I wonder what she knows that was like, oh, yeah, I think it's time for me to.
I don't think she knows anything. I think she probably
she knows.
I think she got the phone call and was like, hey, you're not doing good.
Yeah.
Like, you're out.
Yeah.
You're out.
She was so emotional at the end of her.
Right.
And of course, and I understand, you know, you would be if you were, you know, Prime Minister and meant that much to you. But it's how personal it was. I mean, you have to like kind of watch the videos of her stepping down. She doesn't mention anything, to do with her resignation. She doesn't say why. People ask her, and she never gives any answer. So
Right, that's suspicious.
why is there
yeah.
no answer?
That's the
Because
political
it
way,
must
man.
be.
Yeah.
I mean,
It must be she
theory.
got the phone call.
Yeah,
her boss,
she got
her
the
ma-
memo.
yeah.
She got the morning memo.
Yeah, and that would
You're
also
done.
that would
Exactly.
also coincide with her being so upset, right? Because it wasn't on her own terms.
Yeah, and it was
like
unexpected.
if you, I mean, I'm not saying she's a woman, right? So they're emotional, but if
And
it
that's
was,
the statement that this
Yeah,
episode
there we go.
taking.
I was going to say.
I don't give a fuck. It's the truth. So if you really was your own decision and like you felt like you've accomplished everything you could and you're done, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be like, all right,
Yeah.
I did what I could,
Yeah.
did everything I set out here to do. I'm done. Especially in that system where it's like you decide, in a sense, when another election occurs. The fact that she was upset, yes, there's probably a female aspect to it, but at the same time, that would lend me to believe it's not something she wanted.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So if it's not something she wanted and the system is based around when you want it is when it happens, that leads me to believe someone got on the phone
She got the morning
and
memo.
said, hey, you're out. We got to try something different here because what you did, the way you went about
same-
it, whatever, is not working. And again, it happened during the week of the meeting in Davos, where all these
There's no coincidence,
globalist,
yeah.
World Economic Forum people all together.
The same people trying to get Biden out are the same people that are kicking her out.
Yeah, it was the same week
So-
as Biden getting attacked, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, Biden's been getting attacked for weeks on
with
end.
the
So now-
classified files.
That's right. Yeah.
To move this conversation a little bit forward, who's replacing her? What's the deal?
A man named Chris Hipkins.
Awesome name, Chris. All right, that's a good start.
Not an awesome guy though.
Yeah.
He's so Jacinda Ardern was part of the Labour Party, so it's kind of like the Democratic Party.
Even worse. All
Yeah.
right, yeah.
So she
Surprise.
was the head of that.
Oh, so she was the Republican.
She
No,
was,
no,
she was
she
the
was a
Democrat.
Democrat.
She was the
Yeah, but
Democrat.
he just said who's the part of the Labor Party?
Labour Party. She's Labour Party.
Oh shit. Okay, I didn't know.
So
that.
now, like,
Sorry.
her vice president is taking over, essentially, right? Or is-
I don't really know the relationship.
minister?
I think I'm assuming
Right.
so, but I've never heard about
Sure.
Chris Hipkins before. His first address was all to do with COVID. It was all to do with
Wait,
you're
what-
gonna get vaccine. He was
I
telling
remember.
everyone you're gonna get vaccinated,
So-
and if you don't, then you're an
when
enemy.
when
or
was
stupid or
this
something.
address?
This was last week.
But who's left to get vaccinated in New Zealand?
A lot of people.
Oh, okay. So there's people.
a lot of people.
Okay,
So
good,
just like it's
good.
happening here, it's
Yeah.
a big
Okay,
movement.
good. That's an upside.
Yeah, it's like a internal civil war going on over there.
Is this him?
That's him.
This is the loser.
That's Chris.
Let's see, can we actually hear this? We're trying this out here for the first time, so.
I think early next year we'll be in the phase of chasing up people who haven't come forward to get their vaccination or have missed their bookings and so on. So everyone will be able to get a vaccine between now and the end of the year. But of course, and I want every New Zealander to come forward, but human behaviour suggests that there will be some people that we have to actually really go out and look for, and some of that may spill into next year. But our commitment is everyone will have the opportunity to get the vaccine by the end of the year. Everyone will, but I can't say that, that we're not going to have some hesitant people or some people who just haven't come forward that we don't have to go out and find next year. I think early
Boy,
next year
my
will be in the
response to that is good old get fucked.
Yeah.
This is
yeah,
like
exactly. That's
this
what
is-
I wanted to say.
This is tyranny,
Yeah, what's
tyranny light, right? Like he starts off by saying like we're gonna have to go out and find people. Then he says we're gonna have to go and get people. We're gonna have to chase people up. He said, in regards to getting the vaccine, like it's tyranny light. Like he's not saying like we're gonna show up at your house with guns or we're gonna force a needle in your arm. We're gonna come and get you. We're gonna find you. Like they're real nice about the way they present it. But I mean, yeah, it doesn't seem like they stepped down Jacinda Ardern and put in someone who's like, we're bringing back guns and we're bringing back individual freedom and bodily autonomy or something like that. It sounds like they put in someone even worse.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
wild.
Well, I mean, they didn't pick him. He was basically next in line.
Right, but maybe they knew
Yeah.
that
Well,
this guy's
yeah.
even more of a fucking
that's-
psycho.
that's-
or maybe
yeah.
this is what they've told him to do.
Yeah.
Come out.
He was
Double
more-
down on the
It's
policy.
definitely. He's reading off his.
It's interesting to
We're
see
speculating,
though.
but
Yeah.
It's interesting to see because this was a few weeks ago. You said.
Yeah.
this was January 21st.
Okay, yeah. So this was a few days ago.
A few days ago, yeah.
Where we have continuous flow of information. Skaggs and I have been talking about it for 2 years now.
Yeah.
But now at least like people are talking about like legitimate people are talking about it on Twitter because they can't get censored anymore. Like,
Right, that's
the
interesting,
vaccine's
too.
fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's really strange to see, like, okay, the narrative's changing. Vaccine might not be as good as you think it is.
Yeah.
And then for somebody who's like, oh, I'm next in line for the country, I'm going to find you and stick this needle in you.
While the Overton window on the usefulness of the vaccine is shifting, me and you have talked about this.
Yeah.
This guy's doubling down.
Yeah.
Tripling down,
Yes.
actually, essentially.
Everyone
Which
needs
doesn't
to be
make
vaccinated.
sense, right?
It doesn't
Every
matter what
person.
number.
It's almost
he's going
like-
to quadruple down on
It's
this if he
almost
could.
like
It's ridiculous.
they perhaps know the Overton window is shifting, and the Overton window is your version of like the boxes. You
Yeah.
move this box, etc. Right? Like it's almost like they know the Overton window is shifting, so they're like hurrying up. Like they're like, hey, this is like pressing now. We need to make sure we get everyone vaccinated here because in when is this
year,
election coming?
October.
Like in the October of next year, man. Like we might get overthrown.
There's going to be some
essentially, right?
serious information out there.
What is the other party called? It's the
National.
National Party,
National's
right?
the
And I don't know
Republicans.
how much better they are, right? But perhaps like
They're a bit better.
perhaps things, sentiment and people in charge will change,
Yeah.
and then we can't fucking force
Yeah.
an injection into everybody.
so we force them all now. Yeah, I agree.
It's
All right,
interesting.
so we
I
want-
think let's mix it up. We'll do tweets
Take a
of the
flight out of New Zealand real quick.
Yeah.
or-
What's up, Doom Nation? It is Skag. Back to the show. I think let's do tweets of the week, man. In
Yeah,
between before we
yeah,
get
that's
into
fine.
the Pfizer stuff. So Gabe, we do tweets of the week where
Do you have tweets?
I do not have.
that's
What the
Twitter.
fuck?
I gotta get on Twitter.
again, I don't know if this is even going to work. We're doing screen record as part of the actual cameras here. So Gabe, we do like we try and pick tweets during the week that we
Yeah.
think are like the best tweets of the week, either batshit crazy or something that's
Funny
like really
or- yeah.
meaningful or funny.
Yeah.
And then we just like read them in the episode. So let's go with mine first. This is from the Libertarian Mises Caucus of Georgia, and they say the only Abrams tank that we support sending to Ukraine. It's a picture of Stacey Abrams, the Democrat
Wait, he's
candidate
the
for
size of
governor
a fucking tank.
Georgia.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I thought this was I had a laugh when I saw this. This is like tongue in cheek, making a play on the government sending the Abrams tanks to Ukraine. Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, we're not
She's
we're
a
not
big
perpetuating
woman.
war.
She's a big woman, so we should send Stacey Abrams to Ukraine. I thought that was pretty fucking funny.
Who is Stacey Abrams?
She is the.
She ran for governor in Georgia like twice now and lost. She's a Democrat candidate.
She's one of the most.
She's the president of the Earth in Star Trek.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she.
She's an actress?
No.
Oh.
They literally.
Oh, you mean-
Because I'm not even
They
joking.
gave her a role.
They gave her
Yeah.
a role because she's like a woke person. So like,
Oh.
and they were like, there was an episode. I saw this. There was like an episode in Star Trek where they were like, they met the president of the Earth, and they used Stacey Abrams for it.
Yeah.
It
great.
woke propaganda essentially. Yeah.
I mean,
She
Star
is
Trek
called-
She's
is
a
she's
two
She is-
two-time failed governor
her
candidate in
and
Georgia.
Goodness.
her and what Buttigieg?
Pete Buttigieg.
Maybe.
She said a lot of crazy
Yeah.
shit. You're probably not that familiar
and
with her.
her
but-
and one other Democrat has cost the DNC more money in the past 4
Yeah,
years
she's definitely one of them.
than any other Democrat has ever. Because, like, she's this woke woman, and they just put everything they have behind her, and she continuously
Yeah.
loses
White
and
pill.
just costs them money.
Yeah.
It's
God.
insane. It's
White
insane.
pill. She's said a lot of crazy shit that's like super woke. Like she had the comment that really angered me about like newborn babies, like the fetuses in the womb.
Wow,
And
yeah.
she
say?
said that like the heartbeat that you hear
is
like
manufactured.
What?
so she said basically like the heartbeat, like you go to when your wife or whatever, when your wife, because only women could get pregnant,
Yeah.
is like within the first couple weeks you could go to the doctor eventually, and like there's that moment where you could hear the heartbeat through the sonogram or whatever it is, right? And I remember doing this with my baby, right?
Yeah.
It was like very early on, and like you go, they do the whole thing, and you hear the heartbeat. it was within the time frame. She was saying that within this certain time frame that it's like manufactured sound.
Manufactured sound by men.
By
yeah,
men?
essentially manufactured sound that the doctor's playing to like make you feel good because you're having a baby. And like I looked this shit up, you know. I'm like, well, maybe I looked it up. All right, maybe I don't know something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe
there is a cover-up.
right. Maybe maybe I'm wrong. Right? I looked it up. No, it's not. It's not. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's fucking wrong. Like within the certain early time frame, babies' hearts start beating. It could be heard through the thing. So she just lied. It's like such a despicable way to talk about abortion, like to try and justify abortion.
What's trying to change the facts?
Any woke.
It's like the most radical woke thing I've ever
So,
heard. Yeah.
like, the problem why she doesn't work out is because she will subscribe to whatever woke memo you send to her.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you're the shadow government, you're the deep state, and you tell her tomorrow you're going to go out there and say, I think we should be allowed to abort children up to 18 years of age. Just show up and blow their fucking brains out because mommy and daddy don't want you anymore.
Jesus.
She would be out there and be like, we got to kill these fucking kids. She wouldn't care.
She probably doesn't even agree with herself personally.
If she is told to say A, B, and C, she will be screaming A, B, and C from the mountaintops.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Cap, this is
here
your
we
one.
go.
Your one tweet.
I can't see who it's from, but 6 leading causes. Who's that from?
Leia Halpern.
Okay. 6 leading causes of blood clots according to the science. 1, eggs. 2, sunlight. 3, gas stoves. 4, white people. 5, climate change. And 6, my buddy Andrew Tate. What did I miss?
Extreme temperatures, right?
Yeah.
That's
that's
another
climate
one.
change.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, but no,
climate
that's not
change.
necessarily climate change. Those are two separate things. Remember,
You know what
remember. The Weather Channel told me. The Weather Channel app told me.
It was stroke
the same
season.
week that DeMar Hamilton collapsed. The Weather Channel app sent me a notification on my phone saying that like extreme variations in temperature could cause you to just spontaneously die of heart heart.
I was going to
failure
say,
or
what did
something
she
like
miss? The NFL getting tackles can cause blood clotting.
Yeah, they can. They just kill you. All right. This is my second one. We're going to only get 3 today. This is from our good friend, Clint Russell, Liberty Lockdown. He says, they won't burn books. The algos dictate what you can read. They won't build walls. The Green Pass decides where you can go. They won't imprison you. The electronic prison will suffice. They won't rig elections. They'll use all the aforementioned tools to control popular opinion. Part 2. Most of us recognize the more overt historical tools of tyrants. You cannot apply these lessons to our modern condition if you fail to modernize the applications. You cannot play catch-up. Once completed, it will be inescapable. You can feel it already. You're not crazy to sense this. The good news. The technology is a double-edged sword. The average person can now reach more people than a cable news host. They are few, we are many. We tell the truth, they lie. Lies are always built on a foundation of sand, and the tide is rising faster than ever. Keep going.
Wow.
Yeah, that is true because anything you see the government wants to turn electric.
Yeah.
I always say this to people, and people always laugh at me, and I wish them the best of luck. But like, you want an electric stove, you want an electric car, you want an electric grid for your house, this, that, but like, which we already have, obviously, with the electric grid.
Yeah.
But anything the government wants you to go electric for simply means on their end they have an off switch. You didn't. So in New Zealand, you showed up at a protest. We don't like that you showed up at the protest. It was illegal.
We shut off your Tesla.
We shut off your car. We shut off your stove. We shut off your refrigerator. You can't eat. You can't go anywhere. In Canada, we shut off your bank account.
Right.
Shit, true.
Which was like, that was a crossing the Rubicon moment, what Trudeau did.
Yeah.
Where like, where...
Wait, so what did Trudeau do?
So with the truckers, when the truckers got together, if you were a trucker or a protester in the trucker...
In the protest.
In the protest.
They found out who you were, and they
Bank of America was like, "You're done.
Yeah,
no more money for you."
Like again, now you've
I'm
heard
gonna
me.
go take a bathroom break.
You've heard me rant on about anarchism and where does it say that the government can just like come and take your bank account and shut it down because you in a liberalized democracy called Canada protested against basically, essentially, like being coerced to take a pharmaceutical product.
It's ridiculous.
But this is the good guy, Justin Trudeau, right? Like he's the good guy.
The good
right.
guy.
It doesn't follow. It's just insane of a thing. But there is a little bit of like a tinfoil hat thing to the whole thing that they're going to shut everything off. But I think that's something that everyone should like consider.
Yeah.
I think like having a gas backup of something is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's also a backwards world when you look at like electric cars and the future. It's all being designed as eco-friendly. Oh, we'll have the electric cars so that we won't be putting shit into our ecosystem. But then you look at how they power the superchargers for Teslas, and it's worse than I mean the output.
I think too. Joe Rogan had on someone recently. I forget his name. He's like an investigative journalist, and I think he went to like the Congo.
Yeah.
And he went to like where these like cobalt mines are, where they're mining cobalt and lithium, which they need to make the batteries for these electric cars.
Yeah.
And the story he told, dude, is insane. There's armed guards making sure no one could get in to like view what's happening. But essentially it's another form of like modern day slavery where they have like poor Africans from the Congo.
Shit.
They're there mining cobalt. They're getting paid absolutely nothing. They're in horrific conditions of like heat, like humidity,
and
unhealthy.
All the chemicals and
chemicals,
shit that
right?
comes
Like,
up from
right,
the
of course, like
cobalt.
now you're mining cobalt and lithium and things like these are chemicals, right? They're gonna
And
have some
because they
negative
make
effect.
89 cents a year,
Right,
it's
they
not
get
slavery.
nothing. Like, there's no facility for them to like live in. So essentially, it's like another form of slavery. And this is all being done for like the
Cell
batteries
phones,
in your phone, right? Like the batteries in a car. And the journalist was like, "You mean to tell me that like Tim Cook doesn't know this is going on? Like he doesn't know where the raw materials are coming from that like produces insanely profitable, you know what I'm saying? Like his insanely profitable technology." Or even Elon Musk, right? Like you mean tell me like Elon Musk doesn't know that, right? And again, I don't know exactly like who's buying the fucking material from which mine there, but all of this like woke green shit that we need to radically transform the energy grid is coming on the backs of like African slave labor in certain regions, right? This is woke. This is the woke. This is the woke world, right?
And
I've
on
said
top
for
of
years
it-
that the woke people are actually the racists, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about it, like not only do they believe in fucking like segregation by race and like everything is about like what you look like instead of your merit, but they're also literally technologically like they're building their technological infrastructure on the future off of the back of African slave labor.
Jesus
Isn't that we're the bad guys.
That's the new world as well.
on top
Everything
of
is
it-
built off of the
right. That's
cobalt.
stuff. Cobalt and lithium.
A mining
those
community could
minerals.
be like 15,000 people. Like,
So what's worse for people? Should we just like
And they'll tell you natural gas is like.
That's what I'm saying. Like all right, if I have a decision between like running a generator or having a Tesla, and I know that like if I have a Tesla, that a slave in Africa has something to do with it, I'm just gonna go with the generator.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'll avoid the slave aspect of that. And I'll put a little bit more pollution into the atmosphere for now.
Yeah.
Eventually, maybe those things will become.
And on top of all, like the Green New Deals and shit,
Yeah.
the one thing they don't ever want to talk about is China, Russia, and India create more pollution than any other nations in the world.
Yeah.
But America has to pay more in taxes, X, Y, and Z. China gets like a 15-year reprieve, and then in like year 14, they get like they have the option to do like another 10-year extension on before they have to become like a green.
It's also just
like a green. It's. I mean, can we stack the odds any more in your favor, please? As you literally enslave people.
That's ridiculous. I mean, like the way the world's gonna look at it in 20 years. You know how we look back and like slavery. Oh, back in the Civil War, it's like, oh shit, fuck, we were so evil for doing that. People are gonna look back.
We never stopped. We just played the long game.
Exactly. In 50 years, they're gonna look back and be like, this whole new world, all the phones, all of the electronics and technology we all have and we all rely on was built off of the backs of slavery.
Yeah, me and you have talked about this recently too. How we've talked about like America and how I've been like like yes, like those guys were fucked up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're taking like morals of today and imposing it on them. Like that's the way things work.
Yeah.
Let's use that for ourselves now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're gonna look like you're saying. Let's say we'll be long dead, 100 years from now. We're gonna look back and be like, or people are gonna look back and be like, wow, man, like they were fucking crazy 100 years ago. Like the way they treated people with the woke thing that they were doing back then, and the way they were treating like Africans in the Congo with mining stuff. The thing is, we are on the right side of history.
Yeah.
Like, and this is what leftists always say. Like, we're on the right side of history. No, they're not. We are against that behavior. Like, in a sense, my God, I really hate to say this, but this is essentially what it is. Like, we're, in a sense, like the abolitionist of the day, right? Like, when you look back in history, you know, like an abolitionist, someone who was morally opposed and tried to end slavery, in a sense. Like, if you could compare the two, that's kind of like the side that we're on right now. Yeah. We believe in like individual freedom and liberty and prosperity for everybody. The other side is
it's no shocker that it's repeating itself.
Yeah. It's just it's found a way to co-opt like a good message now. Social justice, equity,
social justice. It's not
Social
justice at all.
It was a good rant that we just went on.
Yeah.
So should we get into Project Veritas?
Yeah, I think we'll wrap it
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Doom Nation, if you're listening to us and you don't know who
man.
Project Veritas or James O'Keefe is, you've been living under a rock. You need to get on Twitter, Instagram. You need to follow James O'Keefe. You need to follow Project Veritas. They are a whistleblower organization. Do not believe what CNN says about them. Yes, they are selectively edited videos, but everything.
But they post everything.
Yes,
outright.
Exactly. But everything that goes on
Careful,
to
it's
CNN.
James O'Keefe's fucking sues
Yeah, I
you.
know.
Yeah.
But everything that goes on to CNN is a selected, edited video. So
True.
And here we go. We have
So Project Veritas breaking. Pfizer exploring mutating COVID-19 virus for vaccines. Now, YouTube, we are just covering this breaking story from someone else. We're not going to take a position yet. This is not us who made it. So.
YouTube.
So don't tell anyone this. There is a risk. Have to be very controlled to make sure this virus you mutate doesn't create something the way that the virus started in Wuhan, to be honest. Now, this is 9 minutes. I don't know if we're going to watch this whole thing. There's a couple other videos to follow up on, but let's see. So this is one of these they're not famous, right? Like Project Veritas basically cons you into coming out to having a couple drinks with them, and then you like
a lot of Tinder dates.
Yeah, Tinder dates gone awry. So that's essentially the setting here, and let's just go from there.
Pfizer ultimately is thinking about mutating COVID?
Well, that is not what we say to the public.
Hold on, pause it. Sorry. The person you hear speaking is Jordan Tristan Walker, Pfizer's Director of Research and Development, Strategic Operations, and mRNA Scientific Planning. This is not a nobody. This is not some guy who knows somebody who works at Pfizer. This is a director of research. This isn't no low-level $30,000 a year position.
How did you want to talk about? Like, we're exploring, like, no, you know how the virus keeps mutating?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we're exploring is, like, why don't we just mutate it ourselves so we could create uncritically develop new vaccines, right? So we have to do that. If we're going to do that, though, there's a risk of, like, as you could imagine, no one wants to be having a pharma company mutating viruses. It have to be, like, very controlled to make sure that this virus that you mutate doesn't create something like, you know, it goes everywhere.
Something crazy.
I suspect is the way that the virus started in Wuhan. To be honest, like, it makes no sense if this virus popped out of nowhere. Like,
Yeah, I know.
Meet Jordan Tristan Walker, a Director of Research and Development Strategic Operations and mRNA Scientific Planning at Pfizer.
It sounds like gain of function to me.
I don't know, it's a little bit different. I think it's different. It's like, it's definitely not gain of function.
It sounds like it is. I mean, it's okay.
No, directed evolution is very different. Well, you're not supposed to do gain.
It's not gain of function. It's directed evolution.
It's directed evolution has the same definition as gain of function.
Do you remember when Fauci was in Congress and it was
when we
questioned
called
by
him out on this? Yeah,
well, it wasn't us. It was us, but it was Rand Paul calling him out about the gain of function once this came out, and Fauci was like, it wasn't gain of function. It was gain of function of concern. Like he just. We'll just change the word, right? We'll just change the term because you figured out what we were doing. So we'll just change the term, say something. So it's directed evolution. It's not gain of function.
which is still wild to think you know, the guy who lives in my building, the people of New Zealand, you know, who to just imagine to sit there and be like, well, he's not doing gain of function research. He's doing directed evolution.
Right, they'll believe.
Come on, you
Oh, yeah.
loser. What's wrong
They
with
don't know
you?
what anything means.
Let's watch another minute of this, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Function research of the viruses, like they recommend not. But you do like these like selected directional mutations to try to see if you can make more potent.
Yeah.
So there is research ongoing about that. I don't know how that's gonna work. There might not be any more outbreaks because like Jesus Christ.
The gentleman seems to have absolutely no moral compass at all.
I think a revolving door for all government officials. It's pretty good for the industry, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's bad for everyone else in America.
Why is it bad for everybody else?
Because if the regulators who have to approve our drugs know that once they stop being regulated, they want to go work for the company, they're not going to be as hard for the company. They're doing their job.
If this is the quality of individuals within Pfizer that are making these huge decisions that risk global public health, it's profoundly corrupt.
Pause it real quick.
Yeah, I think we'll stop
So
this.
I have a question, and I have to word this carefully because, I mean, it would really probably get us canceled, honestly. The type of people that the woke culture produces, right, is a lot of people in position of power that should not be there, right?
Sure, I know what you're saying. Like
where-
an equity hire, not a
and
merit
yeah.
hire.
just because
Right.
you're gay, or just because you're a woman, or just because you're a person of color,
the vice president.
yeah, you get put in this position because you are an equity hire, right? I'm wondering now if we're starting to see things, and don't get me wrong, before I even say this, that white men have the worst moral compass there is. Okay, we've been running the government and Congress since its inception of America.
God, Chris is a woke person now.
And I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's been plenty of corruption. But I wonder if, like, woke culture came about to do these equity hires so they could find piss poor moral people like this guy who thinks it's a joke for Pfizer to manipulate COVID so they could fucking rock the industry, baby. You see what I'm saying? Like, he might have been an equity hire. He might be very well, and he also might be very well educated in this subject matter. But at the end of the day, he is probably on the side of woke culture, and he has no moral compass.
As woke people normally don't, or they have not that they don't, but they have a distorted version.
So now,
of
wouldn't
the
it
moral
be
compass.
easier for a corrupt company
of course. Like,
to
you're
do a bunch
what-
of
what-
equity hires
Sure.
so they could perpetuate this? I'm paying you, bro. What do you care? Like,
Gabe, we talked about this today. I think I was like, I was telling Gabe today. I was like, I don't think at Pfizer right now, people who are like the decision makers are like rugged individual people, rugged individualists who like have chickens in their backyard and love the Second Amendment.
Yeah, they're
and
on
think,
gay
like,
Tinder.
People have individual rights.
Yeah.
Like they don't. There's no way. Like there's no way that people, at least in the shot calling parts of these major pharmaceutical companies, there's no way. They definitely all toe an
they
ideological
don't have
line.
hunting weekends.
No, they don't. No, there's no way. You know, or maybe they do on the side because they don't really believe in any of this shit. It's all a scam.
Or they're
But-
hunting like children. Or
Yeah,
some
it could be
shit,
that.
like
Oh,
Epstein
yeah, you
Island.
never know what these elites are up to.
It's something, man. You know, he's essentially here admitting to gain of function research being done at Pfizer. And he's saying that they're doing it to predict future mutations of the virus.
Bullshit.
We could really go down the rabbit hole and talk about, like, are they the ones releasing the mutations that are currently happening? They've now, at least this guy, and this is just complete speculation, this guy has admitted that they are doing something like this to mutate the virus.
Yeah.
Now, even if they don't do it on purpose, right? I'm not saying they
At
are
bare
doing it on
minimum,
purpose.
even
Like,
if they're not implementing
it's risky.
it,
It's
yeah.
risky. If one of these labs, where this controlled environment, where a mistake were to happen, this could release into the public, and a new mutation could come out that could be more deadly because they're beefing it up to try and test things or whatever.
This guy is willing to talk about this on a date, right?
Sure.
So what about the lab geek who is so desperate for a date that he's willing to? Oh, come on, I'll show you the lab.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a sample. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
How does that COVID taste?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, your ex-boyfriend doesn't like you here. Well, you know what? I got you a little COVID in a packet for you to, you know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, we talked about that today.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that they're making these to, release and then, oh, they got a vaccine. Oh, more money. Ching, ching, ching.
The fact that a company would release anything that would harm its
We're
people.
speculating.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Pure speculation. I mean, I don't want to go to jail or hell soon.
Well, we're not. We're good. We had a YouTube strike, but
We're in America. The worst thing is a YouTube strike.
yeah. It is something, That's just that's where this video leads you naturally, as a conspiracy theorist like us, right? But so this is part 2 of this video, and I think there's more information, there's more to be gained from this interaction here in part 2. And now part 2 of this interaction is where James O'Keefe, who is the guy in charge of Project Veritas, confronts this gentleman here, at the same meeting essentially. Now things go off the rails here, boys. So get ready.
Hey there. Is this seat taken? You work for Pfizer. My question for you is, why does Pfizer want to hide from the
I just want to
public?
pause real quick. Just the balls on James O'Keefe. Like, to do this takes brass balls.
Titanium nuts.
To like, you just trick this guy, and now you're gonna sit like this thing. Look, this pizza's still on the platter there. Like, the poor guy hasn't even finished his pizza yet, and he's
probably waiting for another date. Yeah, he's like, oh, this could be the one.
It's just like, it's got to be so.
But you know what,
awkward
though?
He's like Chris Hansen.
You know what, though?
You gotta be king. You come in.
At the end of the day, this guy, at the bare minimum, is guilty of releasing some type of information.
Right.
Yeah.
So James O'Keefe comes in dick swinging.
Or not a whistleblower, it's muckraking.
James O'Keefe, just his only stance to come in is balls deep, dick
Full
swinging.
send. Full send,
But everything about this guy, his body language, his actions, his words, guilty. But I'm not one to
let's roll tape.
say that.
The fact that they're mutating the COVID virus
Is this real life? I'm literally. Is this real life? I was trying to impress a person on a date by lying. This is absurd.
Please don't touch me. Well, this is not. By the way,
Why are you doing
don't
this?
tell anybody.
To someone who's just working in a company to literally help the public.
Don't sound like you want to help.
You really did. Please read the cost as soon as possible. I'm feeling very unsafe.
Can you please unlock your door?
No, don't let them leave.
Please unlock the door.
What is going on
some
here?
stuff. Please unlock. Please unlock the door. Please unlock the door. Unlock the door. We're trying to get
This guy is scared.
All right, so
that's the fear these people need every night they go to sleep. That's the fear that tomorrow when you get your
James
fucking
O'Keefe will
latte,
appear.
Yes, that the fucking Baba Yaga of fucking James Wick is gonna show up and fuck your day up. That's the fear people need.
Yeah, it's
I
quite
agree.
something. Now, he's saying he was lying. He's on a date.
Oh, how easy, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. We don't know for certain, right? And we'll get into a counterpoint here from Vosh, who's leftist. But that doesn't look like someone who's
innocent,
right? Like the over-the-top insane reaction where he's trying to, like, smash the iPad. It's like, you can't just record people and, like, attack them. And he's, like, in a sense, trying to break the iPad, trying to, like, kind of possibly destroy the evidence of the conversation that just occurred. Like, if you were innocent, you'd be like, like, what? Like, all right, I could just show you that this wasn't true, or something. But then again, on the flip side, maybe he just was scared, he was nervous, he was freaking out because he just got right.
And here's somebody with a piss poor moral compass and how they're reacting. You know what I mean? Like,
So we'll comment here, but I think it's worth showing the other side. Obviously, we think this is real. This is true. I'm saying, at least me and you, Gabe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I fully.
So this is a tweet from Vosh. Vosh is like a popular, like, libertarian socialist. He's really a leftist. There's this thing. Yeah. He's a libertarian socialist. Where he says the new Veritas story is completely fake. They literally just made this guy up. He's a 30-something nobody who apparently just randomly and invisibly became head of Pfizer's worldwide R&D division with no experience, and there's no way to verify it. There are a million ways to verify someone's employment in an executive position, and Veritas can't do any of them. He's a former consultant with 2 papers that have nothing to do with virology or epidemiology under his belt, and then he's just randomly King Pfizer. Trust us. They choose a guy with almost no online history or credentials because the tiny bits of information give bait to conspiracy theorists, that'd be us, who think the deep state magically memory hold his entire existence, but forgot, like, those 2 papers. So that is the...
But he doesn't...
Whoa, hang on. That is the narrative that has arisen on the other side.
Okay.
Right? That, like, this ain't real. It's fake. This guy ain't worked for Pfizer. He just, like, consulted, 2 papers, blah, 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 blah. It's not real, etc. Go ahead. Go ahead, both of you.
But he doesn't prove that he doesn't work for Pfizer either.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, there is no evidence there. I mean, there is evidence that he does work at Pfizer. He just said it as well.
Yeah.
He did 2 papers.
There's more evidence coming out of Project Veritas than there is coming from this guy.
Yeah, true.
So, in the spirit of fairness, I displayed the other side's point of view here tonight, right?
Yeah.
But they're liars,
Yeah.
right? James O'Keefe, again, we're going to go back to James O'Keefe. We've obtained internal Pfizer docs verifying Jordan Walker as Pfizer Director, Research and Development, Strategic Operations, graduated Yale, 2013, Dr. Med at U of Texas Southwestern Medical School. His supervisor reports to Mikkel Dolston, who reports to Albert Bourla. You know who Albert Bourla is?
No.
He is the CEO of Pfizer, the top guy, the guy who was just speaking.
Yeah.
In Davos last week at the World Economic
Forum.
Forum,
He got jammed up too on the street.
Shit.
So Jordan Walker's supervisor reports to Albert Bourla. That's 2 steps away, in a sense, to the CEO of Pfizer. There's some internal documents here that James O'Keefe has published from Pfizer, confirming Jordan Walker's position of research and development, strategic operations.
This is why I love the battle against, the other side, because they'll come out and be like, it's fake. I'm not going to prove to you that it's not real, but I'm going to say it's fake. Believe us. And then James O'Keefe will come out with this, and then there'll be another tweet saying, well, that's fake.
Yeah, that's all just photoshopped.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do this on and on and on, and there will never be truth.
Another tweet I found from SourceStar, and he tweeted at Robert Malone, who's involved in this too. So, Robert, can I get a retweet for visibility? The guy from the newest Pfizer video seen here in this video from 2018 at the med school shown in his LinkedIn that Veritas provided. This proves he's not a Veritas hoax like certain shills are claiming. So here he is, with Pfizer. He's in a Pfizer video from...
Just a little heads up.
Yeah.
That camera's down,
Yeah.
and I think the phone camera's down too.
Is it? No, I don't think
I just heard the beep.
No, that was the camera. I can turn it back on.
I know, we're good.
Go ahead, give your guys' thoughts as we wrap this up here in a minute.
You go for it, man. I've said my piece. Let's get some outside perspective.
I mean, it's comical. I mean, this is just the most comical thing to happen today. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's clear, it's absolutely evident that he is guilty and that this is all real. I mean, first we're seeing this, but just from the video alone, that's a genuine reaction. That is genuine fear and genuine anger and aggression. So
you wouldn't act like that if you're innocent.
Exactly, yeah. You'll be like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
What the hell's all this?
Yeah.
He immediately panicked.
Yeah, he did. I also just find the reaction from people like Vosh and people on the left the most interesting part. I always do. I always find the behavior around these things more interesting than the thing itself.
And
because, in a sense, and we've talked about this before, the woke stuff, the left have adopted denying objective reality as their thing.
Yeah.
So when you break someone down to a man is a woman and a woman is a man, and you don't when you break down the boundaries of objective reality, how easy is it to be like, yeah, this guy doesn't work for Pfizer, it's all a lie, and everybody just believes it. Like, if I could believe that I'm a woman when I'm actually a man, how hard is it to convince me that this guy doesn't work at Pfizer?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you'll believe anything someone tells you because you deny objective reality. It doesn't even matter how much evidence James O'Keefe and Project Veritas and every other person on Twitter finds and posts.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because you literally don't care. You are just a cult member that just toes the line and you deny anything that's true. So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this is most likely real to some extent. It is
Oh, it's
dangerous.
definitely spot on. Yeah.
It's dangerous. Like what's happening here is dangerous. It should be exposed.
Yeah.
And the natural like reaction, what should occur is like, hey, don't do this, Pfizer. Like you shouldn't be doing this. You should stop. You should burn all this stuff, get rid of it.
Yeah, and they probably
let's,
are.
Right. And let's make sure that there's no chance that these mutated viruses can escape the Pfizer lab and kill everybody.
Exactly.
Or cause more variants or whatever.
The reaction is where the truth is,
Yeah.
honestly. So with the whole Damar Hamilton, Hamlin, the next day Fauci came out to make sure everybody knew this wasn't because of the vaccine. Bullshit. Here we are, some guy, Vosh, whatever his name is. Oh, this is fake. This is fake. Oh, okay, so you mean to tell me it's real then? Thank you.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
That's where Captain's at now. Like he doesn't. He just takes the opposite side no matter what.
Chris
is at. He just takes the opposite side.
Yeah,
that's
easy
the logical thing to do with all this.
I'm hedging my bets at this point. Like I've been
a high percentage player.
Yeah, I've been right. I've been right since episode 1 of this fucking podcast. So I haven't been proven really wrong yet. You know, so I'm just gonna keep using this formula, and I'm gonna keep winning.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Fair enough.
Oh yeah, that's respectable.
Yeah. All right. So
yeah.
I'm fucking starving, and I want to keep drinking.
Get food,
yes,
drink.
sir.
All right.
Yeah. So Gabe,
What about you, Gabe? Any final words?
A
message to your friends in New Zealand.
I gotta love all of you, but shouting out my Instagram at Pink Jesus. There's some amazing things coming in the works, some music, some art projects, a lot of awesome things, and yeah, can't wait to see you guys.
That'll be dope, man. When you get some of that going, like it'd be dope to do a podcast
we'll have
and
you back
get
on,
you to like
show
do
you
some
some of
music or
it.
some shit.
Oh sure, yeah, definitely.
That'd be
There's
cool.
lots of shit
That'd be
I can
fun.
do on here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sweet.
All right,
thanks
Pink
for,
Jesus.
Thanks for going on, dude. It was fun
Peace.
to do this and
Very.
for officially. Thank you for also helping us set up the
of course.
screen recording
Yeah.
thing. That makes my life a lot easier. So sign us off, Cap.
All right, Doom Nation. That's been another episode. I don't know which camera is still live. I think it's this one right here. And we got feedback coming. Awesome. All right, Doom Nation. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Be on the lookout for plenty more episodes coming your way. We got a brand new Doomed review dropping soon. So thank you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Doom Nation, adios.
Peace.